Greetings and salutations. It's Vince Robinson here with another edition of Open Door Live. We just finished a broadcast on AM 1490 WERE 360 Info Network. We were having a conversation with Brother Wayne B. Chandler. And as I speak to you now, we are waiting for Brother Wayne to join us on this broadcast. But essentially what we were talking about is something called the Great Reset. And the reason that this is so important for us to know about is because it involves a dramatic transformation of America's financial system and actually a global financial system. So Brother Wayne and I have been involved in something that has allowed us to grow our resources. And we are really interested in sharing this information with those of you who might be interested in doing the same thing. The concept is passive income, and basically it's putting yourself in a position where your money can work for you as opposed to you working for your money. And the reason that it's so important to understand that is because basically we live in a system that we exist with the idea of trading our time for our money. If you go to work every day, there's an agreement that in exchange for an hour worth of your work, you will be paid a finite amount. And you do this day after day, year after year. And the whole time you're working to resolve the debt that you owe all those various creditors to whom you have borrowed from in order to have the things that you need. And for whatever reason, it just seems like a fruitless effort because you can never completely eliminate the debt that you face. With this idea of a great reset that the World Economic Forum has brought to us, they are pushing this idea that you will own nothing and you will be happy. So I'm going to talk to Wayne right now. He's calling in. Yes, Brother Wayne.
Hey, bro. So I'll be on in 1 second. Did you want to continue the Great Reset?
Yes, that's what we're doing right now. I'm actually live right now and just preparing folks for your entry into the broadcast space. So we're going to talk about the reset, and we're also going to talk about what we're doing to address the reset.
Okay. I was thinking, man, about playing the first like 5-8 minutes of that tape recording we have on the reset.
Okay, if you can find it and email it to me, or I can
I'll
look.
do that. I got it right in hand.
Okay. All right.
So you right now.
Okay, so he's going to send that. So, ladies and gentlemen, I was just speaking with Brother Wayne. He's going to be joining us momentarily, and we'll also have some video to share with you as we can execute that. But again, this is really an exciting time for us, for those who know what's going on. And you have to realize that the powers that be are doing everything that they can to discourage you from knowing about these opportunities. We have been involved in purchasing different cryptocurrencies and joining in a few different programs. We're not going to call them investment programs because that's not quite the correct terminology for it. And because, you know, we live in a world of financial regulation with respect to securities and other financial instruments, you have to be very deliberate about how you express certain things. And we're going to take that caution as we bring this information to you. But just know that we have been involved in something that is working, and it's just profound. I mean, I don't know of any other way to put it. When you realize that you can take what you have, put it into something, watch it grow, reap a reward and benefit, and position yourself for success, financial success in the future. And I hope that you don't think that I or Wayne are trying to sell you anything, because this is not about selling anything. This is about providing information from which you will benefit from tremendously. So if you're in a situation where you're looking at retirement down the line, you know, if you have a 401k, for instance, you have a false sense of security because, you might have $2 or $3 million in a retirement account. But what you must factor into that situation is the fact that the distributions are going to be taxed at some point. You also have to realize that there is inflation that takes place. So as your money is growing at an 8% rate or a 9% rate or a 10% rate, if you're really fortunate about that, you also have to factor in inflation that, they say that they want to control at 2% per year. But if you look at what's going on right now, inflation is well beyond the 2%, and they've just basically opened the floodgates to allow inflation to grow even more exponentially, and that eats away at the value of the money that you have in your retirement account. So it's kind of a false sense of security. It is not what you think it is. And in addition to the fact that they are going to tax you on the distribution and you have the inflationary factor involved, you also have the fact that whoever is holding your account is also charging you fees to do that. So again, false sense of security. If you think that your retirement account is going to do all that for you, you may be in for a huge disappointment. And then another thing that you have to consider is the fact that your retirement account many times is tied to the success or failure of the financial markets. When you have those market corrections, such as the one that we had in March of 2020, and the one that we had and ones that we have had in years past, you can see a drop in the value of account 10%, 15%, 20%, 30%. And this can happen literally in one day. You can lose that much value in your account. So you really have to be deliberate and strategic about where you keep your store of value in terms of your assets. So, in our group, we talk about the importance of investing in precious metals, things like gold and things like silver. One of the clues that we got that some significant financial changes were on the horizon was in 2020, when one of the richest men on the planet, that is Warren Buffett, purchased $530 million in gold and eliminated his stocks that were gold related. So he switched from a stock or an electronically traded fund to having a tangible asset in the form of gold. Not only did he purchase $530 million in gold, he purchased $1.2 billion in silver. Once again, it is a store of value, but it's also something that can be used to negotiate financial transactions. So we are mindful of a lot of different things that you can do to protect your wealth. And you must do this. Otherwise, you're just going to see what little you have eroding day after day, week after week, month after month. And as the value of what you have goes down, the cost of things are going up. So I'm really kind of holding space for Brother Wayne as we wait for him to jump into the broadcast and share what he needs to share with us. But again, really excited about this. And just to give you some information on the front end, we have been having our meetings on Sundays and Thursday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We have anywhere from 50 to 60 to 70 people from across the country involved in our meetings. And what happens is we present a couple of different platforms that we're involved in so that you can get kind of a cursory glance at what they are and how they work and what they can do for you. And then we also have conversations about individual cryptocurrencies. We've seen significant growth in many of the coins that we have talked about. And then we talk about the precious metals. I'm not going to talk about the moves that I have made in the past year or so, but I can tell you that some of those strategic moves have been quite beneficial. So, it's a good place in life to be, to know that you have resources that you can rely upon, and you also have things that are growing. So again, The meetings are held on on Sundays and Thursday nights. I'm going to put my email address on the screen. And if you're interested in taking advantage of these programs, you can just send me an email and I will send you a link to the meeting, and then you'll be able to join us. It's really simple. All you have to do is open up the email, click on the link at the appropriate time, and you'll be able to enter the meeting. We do have Q&A aspects to our meeting. So if you have questions about some of the things that we're involved in, you'll be able to do that. Also, we have a Telegram group. The Telegram group is Team WBC. So all you really have to do is go to your favorite app store and download the Telegram app to your phone or your computer or your tablet. And then we can send you an invitation, or if you are already in our contacts, we can add you to the group, and then you'll have access to the program that we're involved in and some others. The benefit of our Telegram group is that we're connected with other groups that are involved in the same programs, but within both of those programs, there are regular Zoom meetings. So if you want to take a deeper dive into some of these programs, you can find out more about them. Both of the programs that we're involved in have extensive educational aspects to them. So if you're not, up to date on what an NFT is, for an example, or if you're not up to date on what mining is, or some of the other aspects of the cryptocurrency world, you can go and you can get information about those things. So we encourage you to join the different programs that I'm telling you about. Specifically, jump on Telegram, let us connect you with the things that we're doing, and also jump on and connect to the meetings that we are having on Sundays and Thursday nights. And just so that you get a clear picture of this, this information is it's not unavailable to the public. It's the type of information that if you know somebody who knows somebody, or if you jump on YouTube or some of the other platforms, you can find out a lot. Now, I want to also talk about this idea of fear, uncertainty, and doubt. It's also known as FUD in the financial world: fear, uncertainty, and doubt. And I'll just talk about Bitcoin for a moment. If you go back a few years, there was a time when Bitcoin was literally less than a penny in value. You could buy an exponential amount of Bitcoins for a small amount of money. And there was a story of someone who actually used his Bitcoin to purchase a pizza. People didn't know anything about cryptocurrency. They didn't know anything about Bitcoin at the time. So it just seemed like, it was not such a big deal. Well, the value of Bitcoin has gone from being less than 1 penny to being as high as $65,000 per coin. Bitcoin is such that now you don't have to purchase the whole coin. You can just purchase a fraction of the coin. And that fraction of a coin will increase in value as the value of that finite supply of coin goes up. So even if you purchase this fraction right now, if you hold on to that for a certain period of time, and this is not financial advice, this is for information, education, and entertainment purposes only. But if you purchase that fraction of a coin and hold it for a certain amount of time, as the value of Bitcoin goes up, you're able to sell that fraction of a coin and achieve a significant amount of income from that. So what many are doing now is they are purchasing those fractions. Now, at the same time, you also have information out there that would discourage you from purchasing. They want to tell you that it's a scam. They want to tell you that it's not backed by anything. They want to characterize it as being this dark web or whatever that might be. And at the whole time that they're discouraging you from buying or encouraging you to sell what you have, they are purchasing what you sell because they're going to hold it and watch it grow in value. Just a few short months ago, I think it may have been June, believe it was sometime in June, Bitcoin was selling for $29,000 per coin. And at that time, I went ahead and made that purchase. And in the time that I made that purchase, Bitcoin has gone from 29,000 to where it is right now, somewhere around $60,000 per coin. So since June of this year, the value of Bitcoin has doubled. There have been other coins that have increased in their value even more exponentially. So again, these are things that you want to be aware of because you can actually take advantage of the increase in value of these digital assets. We've been joined by Brother Wayne. Glad to see you, brother, and thanks for doing that radio program for us. You dropped some nuggets on us today, and I know folks were listening because they were on Facebook and they were asking questions. And I think one of the main questions was, how can we do this? So what we want to do is bring folks into an awareness of how they can do it and how they can benefit. So welcome to Open Door Live, Brother Wayne.
Good to be here, my brother. Good to be here.
Okay. We don't have your microphone on. You're going to have to unmute your microphone, I believe. For some reason, we're not getting your audio. Let me see. Okay. I think we have it now.
Okay. Yeah, because
Right.
I'm not muted on this side.
No, what it was is the sound was turned down on my computer because I had to mute it because I was on another computer as I was doing the broadcast. So let's just jump right into it, Brother Wayne. We talked about the Great Reset, and it's quite an ambitious agenda that the World Economic Forum is engaged in. And for those who don't know, the World Economic Forum is a non-government organization that involves a great number of corporate leaders and government leaders. And they have met in Davos. I believe they met this year. I think they met last year. They met the year before that. And they got together and started rubbing their hands together. And they decided, okay, well, we have this event that's coming up. We can utilize this event to basically bring to the public our plan to transform the world's economic systems, but not just the world's economic systems, just the way we live. You know, the idea that, you know, folks don't need to be in those churches, you know, hundreds of people next to each other, conspiring or just being together and having thoughts about what they'd like to do with their lives. They're looking at ways to divide us and separate us and take control of our minds and our assets. So could you give us an idea of what this Great Reset is about? And then we'll get into what we're doing to address that.
Yeah, I think the key word, the phrase that you just stated, taking control of our minds and our assets, you know, is on point. And I think that that's probably part of the essence, if not the essence, you know, of the agenda. I do believe there are other operational dynamics that fit into the whole schematic of this. But what we're going to be experiencing, many of us will never come to the realization of what those dynamics are. But they are what is really driving this whole reset and locking it in place. I think a lot of what we're seeing right now in different places in the world, like China, Australia, and Canada, to right now anyway, a small extent, is the issuing of these passports. The passports reflect entry and basically membership into the Great Reset, And the passports deal with what a person's social credit score is. It deals with how this credit score will move you into the acquisition of the CBDCs, which are the central bank digital currencies, and how that feeds into a universal digital currency that will be issued by the central banks and controlled by the various governments around the world. Now, Bill Gates has been central in actually creating this technology that will utilize and issue this universal currency that everybody will be utilizing. And once this technology is implemented, from that particular strategic point, you'll be able to, purchase your food, water, you'll be able to get medicine, or you will be denied these various services of acquiring food, water, medicine, and what have you. A lot of this is directly tied into the movement of the vaccine program, that is moving globally around the world right now. And when you look at Klaus Schwab and his latest book that he penned was COVID-19 and the Great Reset. He named it that because COVID-19 is the jumping off point to launch us into the Great Reset. Gates has created the mechanism, which is a biomechanical sensory apparatus that's driven by nanotechnology, and it works in a way that it picks up and records, as you know, all bodily functions. So it actually accesses systemically all of the different workings, organic, biomechanic, relevant mechanisms in the human body, and it contains an innate payment system that will literally usher out these new digital dollars that we'll have access to, that we'll use to support our daily needs. But we will be moved out of our homes. We will be moved into different, probably more like small condo design infrastructures that will accompany and be maintained through governmental or political operation. And we will own nothing, and we'll be happy.
That's what they're telling us. I just wonder how we could be happy when we don't own anything. I mean, how can we be happy when they own everything and we own nothing? I don't really see that as a prescription for happiness. But I think also that we have to realize the whole mental aspect of this whole paradigm. I'm reflecting on your book, Ancient Future, and reflecting on that first chapter in which you basically state the whole idea that the universe is mental. And as we look at what's going on right now and look at the ways that our minds are being controlled, I mean, we're on this broadcast right now, and we have to be mindful of saying certain phrases or, talking about things in certain ways because of the fact that there are sensors that are monitoring everything that we say, and they don't want certain things to be said, or they don't want a certain narrative to get out there that contradicts the narrative that is being pushed on everyone right now. So this whole idea of the power of the mind. And we talked earlier about the mindset from going from a mindset of lack to a mindset of abundance. Could we talk just a moment about the hope that we can have if we have the right mindset in the face of all the stuff that's going on right now?
Yeah, definitely. You know, a lot of what we experience with respect to our understanding, of money, is a programmed, subconscious design. And because of how we've been programmed subconsciously, that's where, we really have to make the shift. And because it is a subconscious shifting that has to be implemented, it makes the awareness, the acquisition of awareness, a little more cumbersome, a little more challenging to achieve, to acquire, because we're dealing with an element that operates, though, within our bodily system, our mental design. It's still unknown to us. So it's like looking in a dark closet, trying to find something that you can pull out. You know it's in there, but you can't really discern specifically where in the closet it is. So you have to bring some light into the closet in order to really pull what is needed out of the closet into your own personal domain. And so this is how it is with our subconscious programming around money, around currency, around exactly what money is and how it can be used. One of the things that you stated on the program earlier was that, we as a people are amazing consumers, and that's what we are. We maintain and sustain the financial markets by our spending habits. And our spending habits are reckless. They're reckless, and they don't feed into any type of systemic design that's going to ensure the security, the financial security, of our immediate future. So much of what we have to change begins in subconscious repatterning. And how to do that begins with an awareness that there's something wrong with how we think about finances and how we think about money. And then to take that initiative to begin going in and doing subconscious reformation.
Okay. So I also want to just talk about, in relation to the whole idea of mind control and whatnot, can we talk a little bit about the use of fear right now? Because, when I reflect on the past year, and I've kind of pushed away from watching television because I just don't have use for it right now. But when you look around, you're driving down the freeway, you see a sign up over the freeway. It's telling you that you have reason to be afraid. We live in a world now where we're scared of each other because you might breathe on me and it could kill me. And we get this message just drummed into us day after day after day. And because we live in this state of fear and panic, it seems as though we're trapped in a survivalist mentality that lowers our vibrational frequency and kind of deters us from engaging in any critical or analytical thought about what's actually going on. And then as a result of that, we just follow the program and we do whatever we're being told to do. But we do it under false pretenses because we've essentially eliminated our power to do anything about what's going on around us.
No question. To dramatize that, when I first got into the investment markets, now I'm not talking about Wall Street. You know, I stay away from Wall Street. But there's a group of investors. Most of them are centered, strangely enough, in the city of Baltimore. And they operate outside the box, and they are serious financial critical thinkers. And they have a totally different take, you know, on how the world financial systems operate and how to best utilize these systems to really generate abundance for yourself, to make money, real money, you know, in the real world. But as I got into their various narrative, one of the things, you know, that came up was a repetitive statement that they used, which was called the normalcy bias. And so when I looked up exactly, well, what is the normalcy bias? And the normalcy bias is a way of really enculturating humanity so that they are somewhat paralyzed when it comes to action and being proactive. So the impetus to be proactive has literally been sublimated to a large extent, if not entirely removed from the consciousness of the population. So when you go to Wikipedia, or you go to encyclopedia, or you go to Google and you punch in the term normalcy bias, it's a psychoanalytical term, you know, a term that's used in psychiatry, a term that's used in psychology. And this is what it says: a cognitive bias which leads people to disbelieve or minimize threat warnings. Consequently, individuals underestimate the likelihood of a disaster and its potential adverse effects when it might affect them. About 70%, about 70% of the people in the world today display normalcy bias during an impending disaster. So, looking at what creates normalcy bias is an amazing cognitive rewiring, repatterning of consciousness. And what is real, what we as human beings determine as real and substantial to our well-being. And when you really break that down and look at it for what it's worth, the things that are substantial and functional to our well-being are all within the construct of illusion and are elements and dynamics that are very unnecessary to how we need to navigate our daily reality. And fear is at the base of that construct. So fear is used to manipulate and redirect every action that we implement in various ways in our everyday life. And we see fear in a variety of different ways. But one of the main ways we're seeing it right now is through the onslaught of the COVID-19 pandemic.
Yeah. Well, it just seems to me that there is a massive effort to push folks into this place, and then to give folks a certain sense of hopelessness that kind of pushes them into not being proactive, not being pragmatic, ignoring the warning signs. I mean, you just talked about that normalcy bias, and people could think, well, I can still go to the gas station and buy my gas, even though it costs a little bit more. I can still go to the grocery store and get some groceries, and I'm still eating okay. But at the same time, we're going to the grocery stores and many shelves are empty. And then we're being told, well, you can only buy 2 packages of toilet paper and you can only buy so many gallons of water, So if the reasonably prudent person would read these ideas and read these things that are happening and then say, hey, well, maybe I might need to make some adjustments.
Exactly.
And it's also interesting, Brother Wayne, when we look at these rapid advances in technology and, certain realities. And this is something that Schwab talks about in his book, and to a certain extent, a lot of what he's saying does make sense. I mean, we went from a transition of riding horses and buggies to riding gas-powered cars.
Right.
But we also realize that there's technology that can enable us to drive an electric car now, which is really nothing new. I mean, they had electric cars, decades ago.
Right.
But the reason that the electric cars didn't fly is because the petroleum industry had so many tentacles that it wouldn't be economically feasible to move in a different direction.
Exactly.
But now, thanks to this great reset and this idea that, we have to be mindful of the Earth's resources and we have to live in this green place and we have to be concerned about global warming and the impact that the activities of man are having on the integrity of the planet, that we have to make certain moves. So, they're still selling $100,000 Mercedes Benzes that are fueled by gasoline. But now they're offering you cars that cost $160,000 that will ride 529 miles on a single charge. So if you're thinking about what's going on, are you going to spend $160,000 on a car that gets 15 miles a gallon? Are you going to put $160,000 on a car that will drive 527 miles on a single charge and not require any gasoline at all? We have to adapt to the changes in technology that are happening right now. So spend $1,500 on that hoopty, or think about maybe getting a car that will get you 30 or 40 miles on a single charge if that's all you can afford, but you just need to go 5 miles each way to work. You gotta change how you're perceiving reality and adapt to these changes. So what we're doing right now, to bring it back home to the financial piece, is we're looking at ways to get an increase from that small amount. So let's talk about cryptocurrency for a minute. And again, this is not financial advice. This is entertainment, education, and informational purposes only. But, there are a few things that we have done in the past few years that we've seen some gains on. One such coin is XRP. And XRP is really right now at the center of our conversation because of things that have been done to manipulate the market for these coins. But, we're talking about a coin that has been under siege by the Securities and Exchange Commission, filed a lawsuit against the company that created this coin. but we're seeing that this coin may be an integral part of a global economic system. So right now, people have an opportunity to purchase this coin for a few more cents than $1 right now. It went through the market manipulation in the past year or so, and the value went down to as low as maybe 19 or 20 cents. But in the year that has transpired, even with that SEC lawsuit right now, which doesn't look good for the SEC from what we're being told,
Right.
This one coin has the potential to go from the $1 or so that it is right now to perhaps $10, perhaps $100, thousands of dollars. Talk to us about the promise in scenarios like that.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, XRP, the reason XRP is so important right now, in its current position in terms of doing battle, with the SEC, is because the future and direction of the entire cryptocurrency domain hinges on the outcome of how XRP is classified in this battle between Ripple / XRP and the SEC. And right now, well, really from the very outset, I mean, the SEC has been taking a massive beat down on this, but yet so much has come out regarding the improprieties, the illegalities, the just inauthentic nature of the SEC as an institution and what it's really supposedly designed to do, and its protection of people's rights in and around, the financial markets. So XRP, personally, I believe is going eventually to outperform Bitcoin in terms of price. I say this because XRP is the one coin that will be used to move money through all major financial institutions and their smaller tributaries. It's the one coin that will move money not only from bank to bank, but also across borders. And there's no other coin out there like it. Probably the coin that does take a second place to its design and functionality is a coin called XLM, or Stellar Lumens. And, the creator of that coin used to be with XRP and actually helped to design XRP, but just had a different opinion of where he wanted to see XRP go. So he left the company. But XRP, most people are saying by the end of this year, maybe going into January, should hit anywhere between $20 to $30 a coin. But that's nothing. I mean, literally, that is nothing compared to where XRP is going to go and how substantial a coin it's going to be. Many people believe that XRP is going to be that selected coin that will become the universal income for the world. So what has been happening of late is that the SEC and other, institutions are really trying to push people out of their XRP holdings so that they don't reap the rewards financially of where XRP is about to go. And so you have to be, a lot of traders, when you get into the market, you have traders. And that's not to say that I haven't traded, but my main focus is that of an investor and not a trader. So as a trader, like for example, right now, you made the mention of meme coins. So you have a lot of meme coins that are out here in the market, the crypto market space currently. And, there's really nothing behind a meme coin. It's just a opportunity, for traders to get involved and make a little bit of money, on the spur of the moment. So what has been happening is that a lot of people who have invested substantially in XRP have literally dropped their XRP holdings and have traded out of XRP into tokens like meme tokens like Dogecoin, like Shiba Inu, and then there's another two other Shiba coins that have hit the market, the cryptocurrency marketplace. So now they've become involved financially into these other coins and have walked away from their XRP holdings. And this is what, the powers that be, this is what they want to see. So for people that don't understand, you have to look at, in terms of what is a cryptocurrency, there are like, 4 criterias. The first criteria for a good cryptocurrency is that, because a cryptocurrency, people think of these coins that just kind of float around out in space. No, that's not what a cryptocurrency is. Not a good cryptocurrency, not a relevant cryptocurrency. A relevant, good cryptocurrency has a program that's behind it, a business that's behind it, a production that's behind it. So the first criteria that maps out a good cryptocurrency is that there must be a company behind it that has a project that people love, that makes it relevant. When Apple came on the scene, people found Apple to be very relevant. When Amazon came on the scene, people found Amazon to be really relevant. The second criteria is that this company that is behind the cryptocurrency, must have a design that solves real world problems or issues that are shared by millions of people. So that speaks to the various cryptocurrencies like XRP, because XRP moves money in 3.5 seconds across international borders and from bank to bank. A maximum of 3.5 seconds. And when you look at the current SWIFT system that has been in place since 1974, it has taken 3/4 of a day to 3 days, depending on where the money is going, to get from one bank to another bank. And when you talk about cross-border payment systems, you're talking about 3 days. And that's under the SWIFT system. Now, the SWIFT system has now aligned itself with XRP, as has the Bank of America, as has Wells Fargo, as has the Central Bank of France and Bhutan, as has the system that moves money. What is it called? That you can find. I've been in Africa and have gone off road and have moved through a small little village where there's only about 4 or 5 homes in the village, but they have a one of these what's it called? They're everywhere, all over the world. I can't think of what it's called, but everybody knows it. It's in every supermarket in the hood. But it's when you go and you need to move money somewhere, you go in, you fill out your little form, and you move your money. You
You
send
talking
your
about Western Union?
yes, yes, yes. Western Union. So Western Union is under the umbrella now of XRP. So you have so many different like institutions that are utilizing XRP right now. Malaysia, China, Bangladesh, the UK, the Netherlands, Japan, Australia, all are utilizing XRP. 90%, 90% of all the contractual agreements out for the utilization of XRP all lie outside of America. 90%. So America is the only country right now in the world that is suffering the movement of financial acceleration from bank to bank and cross-border payments because of the SEC. The Senate, the U.S. Senate, is behind XRP. The World Economic Forum is behind XRP. The International Monetary Fund is behind XRP. They want to see the release of XRP because they know it's going to take the transmission and acceleration of currency to a whole nother level. So right now, the SEC is that thorn in the side of many different organizations and multifaceted financial institutions.
Yeah, and it's important to also mention that XRP was delisted here in America. So
Yes.
you can't purchase it on a US based exchange. So you have to go through other exchanges in order to acquire it. And as you have this conversation, you also realize that all these other countries that you just mentioned are not treating it as a security, they're treating it as cryptocurrency.
That's right.
So the SEC's case is pretty weak, actually, but we're dealing with delays because the SEC asks for an extension. So we have to wait through this period. And that's the American legal system. It's hurry up and wait. So when they finally get this situation resolved legally, I think it's safe to assume that we can expect to see some major movement in that coin. And it's going to be huge. So many of us in our group have gone ahead and acquired significant amounts that put us in the top 10% of owners of the XRP coin.
Multi-millionaire status.
Yes, as we speak. So we can talk about XRP, but I also want to talk about what we can do with that coin and some of the other coins. There's something called staking.
Right.
And with staking, you can purchase a coin and hold it in a wallet. And while you're holding it, you're earning interest on that coin. And after a certain period of time, you can actually recoup the interest that you've earned. So on top of the value of the coin rising, you also have the interest that you've earned. And that's another way of creating passive income just by purchasing these coins. And these are things that everyday people can do. It's not really that complicated, but some of us are a little long in the tooth and it's hard to find our way around the computer screen. But if you do it repetitively, you can get adept at it and then take advantage of the opportunities that exist within that. So we've been able to experience growth because we've made these purchases, and we can see the growth that happens when you have the right kinds of coins. That being said, there are 14,000 different coins, and that number probably grows every day. Many of those coins have no useful purpose. They're not backed by projects that present any type of potential or promise for people who invest in them. But then you have others that we are mindful of, and we take advantage of the predictive technology that is out there. AI is alive and well in the investment world, and the people who have the big money are the people who have made the investments in that technology. So they use a combination of the AI and the human beings that have a grasp on what's going on. And because they have access to this information, they stay ahead of the curve, just like Warren Buffett did when he purchased that gold, because he saw the writing on the wall.
Sure.
If the traditional central banking industry is going through a transition that's going to cause people to move away from it, then why would you continue to invest in something that is on its deathbed? If they're doing things right now in our world to basically tell us you don't need to fly, just put on the goggles and you can go there, then you don't need the airline ticket that could give you that real experience, and you're happy to just sit there in your living room or whatever office you're in and have that experience. So people aren't going to be flying as much. And because of that, the airlines are going to suffer because they're going to have fewer passengers, and they're still going to be struggling with those costs of fuel, which is going up. So again, the handwriting on the wall, those who are in the know are making their moves now. So we have to be mindful of the fact that we need to be plugged in to that information so that we can make similar decisions and to prepare ourselves for the massive change in technology that is transforming the world. I would be remiss if I didn't give you an opportunity to talk about the role of precious metals in this paradigm. So can you talk a little bit about why you might want to also consider investing in precious metals now?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you mentioned Warren Buffett, and I mean, that right there is indicative of a very strategic design. Like I said, earlier, Warren Buffett, he's the sixth richest man in the world. I believe Bezos is number one, and Musk is number two. So
that
Buffett
just changed. It just changed. Now Elon Musk has overtaken.
Yeah, that's what I heard that, but then I was reading something just the other night, last night, I believe, that said that Bezos was still ahead in the game.
Okay.
So I don't know.
Okay.
But maybe they're switching positions back and forth,
right,
as they play this optimum game in the world of finance. But Buffett being number six, the mere fact that he has such a profound inroad into the strategies of the global financial markets to make a move. Now, this is a man, and our listeners really need to comprehend this. This is a man who has hated metals all of his investment career. He's never made a investment into gold. He's never made an investment into silver. And he's the big daddy investor. But yet he has shied away from metals like they're the black plague. And all of a sudden, he makes a move where he purchases $500 million in gold and 1.2 billion ounces of silver. That tells me everything, because he's looking at elements of stability. He's making sure that his money, that his investments are not going to go the way of the dinosaur, that they are going to remain and hold their value. So as a speculator, he's looking into the imminent future, the immediate here and now, as to where gold and silver are going to be. So a lot of financial pundits right now are definitely stating that this universal income that everybody is going to have access to will be backed by gold. Right now, you have what I feel is an amazing opportunity to invest in gold, invest in silver, because of where they are in the pricing range. I believe silver is somewhere around $22, $23 an ounce. Gold is around $1,700, and you're not going to see that for much longer. Gold is going to make a move. Matter of fact, they're counting the days that gold is going to make a move from $1,700 into $3,000 an ounce. Silver, they're counting the days that silver is going to make a move from $22, $23 an ounce up into $100 an ounce, and that's going to just begin the journey of these metals. This time next year, they're saying gold is going to be $10,000 an ounce and silver is going to be $600 an ounce, and silver maybe more, because I believe silver is going to outperform gold in this bull run that they're about to step into. Now, you have to look at the world as a speculator. You have to look at the world in terms of all of the various systems that are about to implode and collapse. And this is what is going to create massive value for both gold and silver. You can't look at where gold and silver are right now. You can't equate how they occupy space in the financial markets at this given time, because it's totally irrelevant. It's totally irrelevant. The substantial outpouring and value of gold and silver is yet to be recognized, because it's not going to happen until the systems begin to fluctuate and eventually implode, and we're driven into hyperinflation, and we cannot afford anything, let alone invest in precious metals. Now, think about this. Those who have invested in precious metals, when this whole thing collapses, think about the position of abundance they are going to occupy. And this is why people like Sam Zell, people like Warren Buffett have made substantial investments into precious metals, because they know they're not looking at what precious metals are doing right now. They're not looking at the space that precious metals occupy right now. They're looking at where precious metals, gold and silver, are going to be in the immediate future.
You know, it's interesting too, as we have this conversation. I know you tune in to Robert Kiyosaki, who has been very successful in many of the moves that he's made. And I also know that he's not really one to invest in the stock market. He's really kind of anti-stocks. And, you know, what he would say is that the stock values are overinflated.
They are.
And really, I mean, let's be real about it. It's based on a fiat system too.
Exactly.
You know, so it's smoke and mirrors. You know,
exactly.
I was thinking about this the other day. You know, when you think about the fractional reserve system that the banking system uses, and the fact that when you put your money into a bank, they multiply it by 10. And they might multiply it by 10, but there's no physical cash involved in this. It's just basically using computer technology in a system of credit and a ledger system.
It's the biggest Ponzi scheme in the world.
It really is. I mean, it's just mind-blowing to know that there's really nothing there. So when you talk about a deficit of $28 trillion, and they just approved a $1.2 trillion stimulus package in the wee hours of the morning. So when you look at this $28 trillion, but it's there's no debt, because the debt is just that. It's just debt. It's somebody saying you owe. But what is it that you actually owe if it's not backed by anything tangible? So we have this whole illusion, and then they could say at one point, as they've done in some other countries, and said, okay, we're wiping all of that out and we're starting brand new today. And we've been talking about a great reset, and they're going to reset things. And when that reset happens, we got to be prepared for what's happening. So I'm really glad that we had this opportunity to talk about some things that we can do. We've talked about the precious metals. We talked about the cryptocurrency. We have these meetings on a regular basis. Right now, we're having them twice a week. We're probably going to move to doing them once a week, but the value of the information will still be the same. And it will give you a full week to perhaps make some moves and get your finances in order. I've listed my email address on the ticker that you can see there. If you have an interest in joining our group and learning about some of the things that we're talking about, and understand we're being strategic about not mentioning names of things and giving up all the information, because this is not the place for that. But just let me just rest assured that folks who have joined us have seen significant growth in their situations, and every last person who has jumped on and jumped in is eternally grateful. I don't know how many people have thanked you personally, Brother Wayne, but a lot of people have said, brother, I'm so glad you told me about this, and thank you. So with that, I don't know. We've been on for more than an hour, and I want to be mindful of people's time, and all of us have things to get to, and I know that you have quite a bit on your plate right now, which was why you were up until 4 o'clock in the morning. So I don't want to hold you too much longer. But any parting words of wisdom that you want to share with the audience? We've got a few folks who are watching us live on YouTube, and there are a few other folks who are on Facebook watching us right now. So any parting words of wisdom that you want to share with us before we conclude?
Yeah, I think that it's critical right now to be very proactive. What we provide in WBC, the wealth building community, is a major first step. It's a major first step to just allowing you to have a degree of stability in an environment where everything is shifting and is about to shift and transform itself even more radically. And to have some degree of financial, abundance during this time so that you can make other moves. You can make other moves. Maybe you want to have some property outside, of the states, and you want to be able to move back and forth, between these two geographical areas. You want to have the ability and the money to be able to do that. As you said, and this is the smoke and mirrors, you have to know that whatever is at the base of what your investment is something that is stable, something secure, and it's not going to just evaporate into thin air in the way they create dollars out of thin air. Stocks, their base is fiat currency. That's their base. So eventually, when the game shifts, those stocks and their value is going to disappear into thin air. The thing that you want to be so mindful of right now is that we have the greatest opportunity, and I'll end with this because I want you to think about this. We have the greatest opportunity to generate massive wealth from something that is completely and totally worthless. Ponder that. Right now, while they are making this shift from one system into the next, we're right in the middle of this transition. And we have the knowing that the money we use is worthless. And we can take that worthless currency and turn it into something like cryptocurrencies, like property, like gold, like silver, that's going to be of massive value in our immediate future.
Okay. Thank you, brother. I just had one more thought, and I wish I had mentioned this earlier, but I was just thinking about this whole idea of interest and the example that we use many times to illustrate the difference. The fact that I have a checking account with a major bank that's paying me 0.01% interest annually, which means that in this account, I'm earning 1 penny per month. In our meetings, we talk about the value and the beauty actually of compound interest. And if you understand compound interest, you realize that you can use interest to your advantage. And this is one of the ways that we're able to grow what we're growing right now, because interest is a part of the equation. But this is just a quick example to show you what potential compound interest has. If you had $1,000 and you were earning 3% interest on a weekly basis, you could grow that $1,000 into $5,000 in a year's time. I have $1,000 in a checking account, and in 3 years, I have earned 80 cents in interest. So $1,000 in something that can grow at 3% per week versus something that grows at 0.01% in a year. The banks want to give you 0.01% in a year, but we are aware of things that can grow it at 3% per week. This is a potential that you have, and I'm not trying to entice or anything. I'm just telling you, if you understand how compound interest works and you can utilize compound interest to grow your wealth, This is the way you transform your life. And we want you to be privy to ways that you can do this. So if you want to join us, all you have to do is send me an email. I'll send you a link to our meeting. You can join our meeting. You can see what we're doing. You can see how we're doing it. And you can begin to change your life dramatically by changing your relationship and your attitude towards money, and understanding that it's really about the flow of currency, and it's also about the liberation of your mind that will create the generational wealth that you'll be able to hand down to those who come after you, despite the efforts that are being made to take anything and everything away from you. Brother Wayne, I want to thank you for joining me on this platform today. I know today is
Thanks for having me, brother.
kind of a challenge, but we got to have these conversations, and we got to keep bringing this information to the public, because I don't want to promulgate fear of missing out, because that's not what it is. But I also want to promulgate the idea that you can change your reality if you choose to do that. So
No question.
We'll embrace your idea, and it's not original to you, but you express it in your book. The universe is mental. Gain control of your mind, gain control of your reality, and you will be in a position to truly experience the peace that it goes along with being a happy person in this universe. Thank you so much, Brother Wayne.
Thank you, bro.
All right. Peace, blessings, and prosperity to you all. And we'll see you on the next broadcast.